Got a friend in Santiago, got a friend in Berlin, got a friend 100 miles away, who's as close as my hand. Distance couldn't keep us apart because we're one man with one heart.
We see real strong movements in this younger generation, an awareness of how we feel controlled, and I'm not including myself in this youngest generation, but I certainly am part of this generation alive today, as is everyone who's watching. The sensation that the media and values of society control us in a way that we don't like, we don't want. What we want is we want to be able to feel a unique, let's say, personal desire, or at least higher desire, something that will make a better world. But all that we can think about to express those things that seem to be holding us back is the sense that we have about what's going on with the influence of the media. We feel that we're being sold things that we don't want, that we're being told about taking actions, whether there's, political actions to the right or to the left, or whether it's about going to war or why we should go to war, what clothes we should wear, what stuff we should buy, and if we're going to buy stuff, what label should be on that stuff, and all of these things that we feel are below us, that we really don't want to partake in these things. And we feel that if we become media savvy, if we can just get smart enough so that we recognize that they're running this number on us, that somehow we can extract ourselves from this influence and reach some type of better world, some kind of freedom, something above this. But this media that we're seeing really is our own desires, because unless we take the force itself of what the media is, which is not a bunch of people trying to figure out simply how to control us. I mean, yes, that does happen because people want to sell things. They want you to support the programs that they want to have happen politically. All of these things. But they're also running inside of a program as well. And we all are part, whether we agree with the messages that are coming towards us or whether we want to change them, we really are receiving all of these desires, either for accepting or for change, from the society that we're in. The change that we need to make has to do with what we surround ourselves with. You really can't overturn a society. You have to choose a society. It's a common thing in every type of endeavor that we learn from, get direction from, get support from. Our whole reality, actually, the quality of our life, the desires that we have, all change. It's almost like a magical formula when you place yourself into some other kind of a society. And I don't mean like some kind of necessarily huge society. It can be something small. It can be a group of scientists who only think about this one thing that they want to discover, with that they can't see, and they support each other, or they compete with each other. But that's the primary value. If we want to not be influenced by what we believe and feel in our gut is below us and below the reason we may have been put here, then what we have to do is we have to seek a society that is consistent with the goal, because we can't control or overturn any of these things. We have to know how nature works, what things it actually gave us, and what those things are for. This clip with all of that media influences, it was done by Jesse Productions, and you can find that on YouTube. If we want to have a world that is about thinking about, taking care of, connecting with, and including everybody, then we have to find other people who have precisely this value. Because on our own, we're not going to be able to do anything except basically get in trouble. We're not going to change anybody else's mind as long as we work inside precisely that same sort of collective desire that we're trying to change. You have to be pulled out of this thing, allow yourself to be attracted to that thing that you really want, and find the place where that is the primary value. What's amazing about it is that in the first place, you find that, well, let's just look at it physically for a second. You end up going to a different location. You get responses from people that are entirely different than the responses that you had in the place that you left. Your sensation about what your life is about and whether life is good, bad, or worthwhile changes completely, because you're immersed in something that you hold as extremely important. And then you find yourself being filled with the strength of that collective that allows you to take this part in you that maybe it was there when you were immersed in some other sorts of values and desires, but basically it was just a little bit more than dormant. And here, it starts in this new place that you choose, it begins to bloom, it begins to grow, it begins to develop. Now, if we choose a society whose purpose is escaping self-love and entering a kind of complete and coherent, cohesive love, connection with everybody, for everybody, then that's the kind of world that we can expect. We can expect not to be immersed in these objects of that we can purchase simply in order to satisfy our ego. We can find a world that actually exists above the ego.
Let go the ego, why, why, why? That's all the ego wants to say to you. Let go the ego, why, why, why? It will do anything to make you stop. 1, 2, 3, 4, let's all rise up from the floor. 5, 6, 7, 8, because it's a brand new state. And when the ego starts complaining to you, turn around, by that you make it flop. Let go the ego, why, why, why? That's all the ego wants to say to you. Let go the ego, why, why, why? It will do anything to make you stop. Everybody wants to see a change, yet nobody wants to play the game. I'm not the problem, that is what we say. That's just the ego, it made us stop. Let go the ego, why, why, why? That's all the ego wants to say to you. Let go the ego, why, why, why? It will do anything to make you stop. Don't believe a word I say to you. Change your attitude and watch your nature bloom. All you have to do is make the efforts to turn around that ego and watch it flop. Let go the ego, why, why, why? That's all the ego wants to say to you. Let go the ego, why, why, why? that ego and watch it flop. Let go. Turn around that ego and watch it flop.
That's my favorite part of the video. I like that little doll that comes out to get a ball. Welcome, Learning Center students. You just completed a lesson on society as a means to reaching spirituality. Spirituality being the unity and connection, the attitude towards others, the attitude towards all of creation, the same attitude that the force that we call the Creator has. This connection of love for others as a way to reach this freedom is what you're studying. You've been studying, begun to study very, very practical aspects of Kabbalah. They're like the how-to, the real textbook, in a sense, the manual on what you actually need to do. And it's really a kind of an experiment. You set up a situation in which you begin to check out your own quality against your attempt in this new environment that you make for yourself, this lab. You conduct an experiment in which you look at what your quality is compared to the quality that you want to reach. And instead of it being just in your mind about, well, there's a God, and I think I'm in touch with God. Yeah, I said something to him today, or to her, or whatever you're sort of imagining as God. I think I'm good with God because, or with this upper force, or with a higher level of reality. I'm good with it because I feel good, or I think this or that. I mean, it's a complete moving target. But in the practical aspects of Kabbalah, like the real, you could call it a kind of higher science, there is something to test. There is a place that you test it in. It is basically, as far as you're concerned, the thing that is being experimented on is your own inner state and response, so that you can make a connection with something that is really outside of you. So the group is what's outside of you. The group takes on this role of that thing that you cannot perceive because it is purposely concealed from you as you do your work. Now you've got something that you can work against. It's not a moving target. How you are in relation to your friend, there's no question, because you get feedback, and that system is actually supplied to us from the upper force. And a person has to construct that in a special way. In the article by Rabash, the influence of the environment on a person, he says, we know that there is a custom applied all over the world that it's not good for a highly skilled professional to be among poorly skilled workers and to learn from their actions. For example, when a cobbler is among unskilled cobblers, they let him understand that it's not worthwhile to make a good shoe, but to do it however it comes out, and it's not worthwhile to make a good and handsome shoe. Or if a tailor, if he's skilled, he's among unskilled tailors, they'll let him understand that it's not worthwhile to strain to make the clothing neat, tidy, and fitting to its owner. Hence, he should be wary of being in contact with them. But if a builder is among tailors, he can't learn from their bad actions because there's no connection between them. But within the same profession, each one should watch himself and be in contact only with pure-hearted people. So in terms of what it is that we want to achieve, why you even came to study Kabbalah in the first place, when you begin to set up a system for yourself, when you make that act of free will to move into an environment that is really going to change your desires and raise them, to put you in touch in a real way with the upper force, it's very important not to mix that aspect of the work. In terms of what you do with the world, who you hang out with, who your friends are, in your corporal necessities, it doesn't make any difference. But in the place that you say is what I want to achieve, the thing that where I want to rise above this world and this ego, there you have to choose carefully that the situation you choose is great, that it's aimed solely at one thing, and that it allows you to do a very important action, which you heard about, you touched on, and I listened to the lesson today along with you, but there really weren't any questions about this sense of annulling. What does annulling mean? You know, it's really the ability to feel others, to see that there is a purity and a greatness, the inspiration of those people who have joined with you to do this experiment. The greatness of that allows you to find your place within a kind of unity. It begins to grow. And the connection, it's the connection between people. Now, this sounds just like some kind of that's very interesting philosophy. The Creator appears not in people, but between people. But it's not a philosophy. This is really a reflection of what holds nature together, that is, what creates it, what sustains it, and what guides it is what's between it, not the elements that we think we see. Let's take a look at this.
They start out flying in the groups they've been feeding with all day, and slowly merge into bigger and ever denser flocks. I've spent hours watching and never seen a collision. How can that be possible? Individuals, but moving in a single entity. And then, when the moment is right, they behave in a way that should be impossible.
Those are starlings at Otmoor, which is near Oxford in England, and that was on the site of Dylan Winter. And that music was from CSS Music, Soaring with the Sun. This ability to partake of the force that guides everything really comes with the desire to be both equal to the friends and to see them as great. And you can see that the birds, even though they're doing it on an instinctive level, they are completely within that system of nature. They're not choosing to do that, because they're actually they're a lower level of life than us. You know, they're the animate level, and we are the human level. And the human level is that connecting point between the upper force and the rest of the creature. So we have to make that choice. That's why it talks about free will in regards to this group, the idea of group, that we must put ourselves into that. Otherwise, our world remains chaotic. We act like puppets. We can't choose anything. The choice is to put ourselves into that system, and understanding that that is the way that the Creator is, and that we want to be like that force that guides us. And that's all available to us when we connect with our friends in the right way for the right reason. We got some questions here. Oh, interesting. Here's a question from Janice, and she says, Rabash speaks about annulling oneself before others and being equal. This seems to be a contradiction. Could you explain? Did explain. Right? So that's what that was all about. Thanks for being completely in sync, Janice. Here's a question from Azza from Australia. Oh yeah, he asked a question in our last show on Sunday, which I answered, and I said I didn't know if Azza was a woman's name or a man's name, and he says, by the way, I'm a man. What does one do when no one else around him is studying Kabbalah? I go to Bible study sessions once a week. This is the closest thing that I have to a group. It's a question. I joined the online Kabbalah Learning Center, and I watch the live stream as well as read the books. I try to share with mates, but it's difficult. What more can I do? Well, I don't know where you are in your studies, but if you're waiting for the new fundamentals course, then you're sort of peeking ahead of the process by joining us here. But one thing I can tell you is that your Bible study class is not a group based on the same desire. It's, as a matter of fact, it's so close that it could cause you some confusion. So maybe just in your mind you can say, well, the Bible study is my tradition. It's my connection to my family, and it's all those things, and you don't have to put it aside. But to understand that the work that you're doing, the study that you're doing in Kabbalah, is the same thing, but it's on a much different level, and treat it that way. And as far as group goes, you'll see that your connection with the students that you're studying with evolves into group if you want that to be. And finally, this is a question from Pete. Is the Creator's mind superior or the same as ours, or is it just opposite? Is the Creator's mind superior or the same as ours, or just opposite? Well, the fact that it's opposite immediately tells us that it is not the same as ours. But it's not merely opposite in terms of a quality on the same level. It is dimensionally different. It is completely and totally different. So it is superior and it is opposite, and it's what's developing us. We have a treat for the Learning Center students. In a moment we're going to meet with, I'm going to meet with a really good friend of mine, Mike Kellogg, who's been your instructor for the technical stuff that you've been studying in the fundamentals semester. And I want to play something, especially for Mike, because I remember early on when we started doing congresses in North America, Mike and I were working together on the cultural stuff and organizing some of the first congresses. And he turned to me at one point where things were going pretty crazy, and he said, "Man, it's like herding cats." And and in the Learning Center, when people are in, as you were in the beginning of their studies, it's really a process of elimination, and everybody is unique, and everybody came from somewhere else, and everybody needs to figure out something else in order to sense where they are. And it's just the first few weeks in terms of questions, responses, emotions, all of these things as they work out, it truly is like that.
This man right here is my great-grandfather. He's the first cat herder in our family.
Herding cats. Don't let anybody tell you it's easy.
Anybody can herd cattle. Holding together 10,000 half-wild short hairs, well, that's another thing altogether.
Being a cat herder is probably about the toughest thing I think I've ever done.
I got this one this morning, right here, and if you look at his face, it's just ripped to shreds, you know.
You see the movies, you hear the stories, I'm living a dream. Not everyone can do what we do.
I wouldn't do nothing else.
It ain't an easy job, but when you bring a herd into town and you ain't lost a one of them, ain't a feeling like it in the world.
EDS, managing the complexities of the digital economy.
Let's see. Yeah, Mike is like, he's sending me some kind of a smiley facey thing with like love on its head. Let's see if we can get Mike to join us now. Oh, it's saying something about the video here. Mike, can you hear me? It's waiting. Is that a laugh or are you choking, man?
My friend. That was hilarious. That really was. You know, a couple of those people are my relatives, I think. I've seen them before.
Which one, the Cats or the Cowboys?
Thanks a lot. Yeah, you know me from Oklahoma, so.
So how does it feel now that you're bringing the first, the first herd into the intermediate corral?
Yeah, exactly. Now, I've got to tell you, we've got a whole new crop coming in here that actually begins August the 7th, so we're going to be sending you some new folks, okay?
Yeah, it's fine with me. It just makes it a bigger party and a greater connection that reaches all over the world. It's really actually amazing how much the Learning Center has grown from the little thing that it was when it first appeared, just amongst a group of friends trying to do something worthwhile that we could, do what Rabash told us we should be doing to progress.
Yes, I guess that's, the idea actually came up, about 5 years ago. So, and it took a lot of work, but it's grown from when you and I together first got a hold of this thing, and with a lot of help from a lot of people at B'nai Baruch, to make that happen. And we've certainly learned a lot and come a long way, and obviously shows like this are actually almost an extension to where people can come to connect together and be able to find out a great deal more in terms of interaction. So, I mean, this is really an incredible tool. The
interaction really is the thing, though, isn't it? Because it's not just the what's in the books. It's not just the wisdom and the concepts, as beautiful and as important as they are in changing a person, but really it's the product of it. I mean, why do it if it doesn't really produce a change, in an inner change, quality, and something that you can say, yes, we're progressing.
Tony, when I was young. You'll probably remember this, being as old as you are, my friend.
I don't remember you being young.
There was a show on about scuba diving, and I really wanted to scuba dive, and I read every book in the world on it. I just got all sorts of knowledge about it, and I mean, I knew what every piece of equipment did. I could take it apart and put it back together in my sleep, I guess, if I had to. But until I strapped on a tank and dove into the water, I had no idea what I was reading about.
Mike, was that the period where I kept hearing that they were pulling you out of your pool unconscious every 2 weeks?
That's exactly right. More than what?
Yeah, what you're saying about until you really do it. Can you remember the point where we started to learn first about the Rabash articles? I mean, it took us a long time to get there. Rav took us along for several years before we really started looking at the practical aspects of things. Do you remember your first impression, how you felt about that? Did you want to do it? Did you, what was your response to it?
Well, you know me pretty well. Frankly, I was always into the technical stuff first. In fact, I got Patiha the moment it was translated into English in 2002 and 2003, and turned right around and read the whole thing in a weekend. And I didn't get to my first Rabash lesson, I don't think, until at least a year after that. It may have been before that, but it took a long time. We didn't talk anything about connection, group, all of this, and it surprises me today what we accomplished over a period of years. Students, I see them going through it in just a matter of months now. It's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, we were pretty big foot draggers on that thing. I mean, it was. I remember Dr. Lightman's telling us over and over again, listen, unless you guys want to connect with you have to connect with the San Francisco group, and you guys have to connect with Chicago. Why don't you guys talk to each other? Don't complain to me. And we just, we will, but we didn't. We just didn't.
No, we didn't.
No.
Yeah, there's this very natural repulsion. And even though you sit there and nod your head, oh, yes, that's right. Yeah, I understand. You bet. That's what we have to do. I agree. Now back to the psiha, right? Or for somebody else, whatever.
Mike, I got to say that I actually didn't understand anything until that resistance started happening, amongst everybody. It really wasn't clear what the target was, I think.
That's exactly right. It really, really comes at you, everything that comes at you in terms of knowledge, you pick and choose and compare with experiences that you've had before and things that you've learned before and all of that. And it's very, very difficult prior to actually getting into the Rabash articles, which, as you and I both know, are all about not you and not me, but what's in between us. That element of connection that people think is in me or in you, when in truth it's in between us. And without this concept of what you and I have to accomplish together, something we can't accomplish alone, have to accomplish together, we don't have to worry about it.
This is so cool. I was just thinking about what you're saying, and I don't feel like there's actually anything between us in the sense of separating. You got a more comfortable chair than me, but it feels like you're right here in the room. Mike, don't go away, because I want to...
It rocks.
So do you, man. Don't go away, because let's look at a video, or you'll hear the video of Dr. Lightman from yesterday's morning lesson, where we are now herding the cats. Excuse me, folks. I don't mean to, say that you're a bunch of animals. It's not true. And then I want to talk to you after that. Okay, so hold on.
Sure. We want to achieve correction. We said that not all the 7 billion people will have to undergo the same processes we're going through now. No, but most of them, they're lacking a rosh, a head. He compares it to a shepherd who's going up front, and behind him the entire flock, and even 7 billion people. If there is someone who sees, who is leading them, then he directs everyone in the right direction. It's like in a body. We have this tiny particle in our mind that determines the entire functioning of the body. It's not the kilo of brain, it's something very, very small. And look what happens with the whole 100 kilos of the body. For all of humanity, you need only one thing, one point of contact with the Creator, because He is the Rosh, the head. All the rest are we. What are we? We're desire. And thus, why are we suddenly thinking about where is our Rosh? Where do we decide? It's something that we don't have, and it's not natural for us, only as a result of the adhesion. Through the point of connection with the Creator do we find everything there. In Him our hearts rejoice, in Him are our kalim, our intentions. That's what happens. Meaning by bestowing onto each other, by coming out of ourselves. That's how each one of us works, and then, this way, you have no such term as someone's head is and someone's head isn't. Because if we're talking about the general system, in which each one works above his own desire, so this Rosh that we build through our mutual intentions, this is the coefficient, the result of our efforts that we build that do not exist to begin with. There's no Rosh to begin with. The system doesn't exist. We build it. And when this rosh is built, it's built like the Creator. These intentions in between us and this whole net that we have created. And turns out then that he doesn't even belong to anyone, he's above us, the rosh. And inside what we have built in our common mutual intentions, that's where the Creator dresses.
Mike, the things that that our friends who are studying the wisdom along with us at the Learning Center that they've learned so far have prepared them to begin making this connection with the flow that comes from above through the morning lesson. It may be, it may be a little bit more intense, or actually more fun, or it's certainly deep. It's profound, but they're prepared to some degree for it. Will you tell them something about what they need to bring with them in order to go into this lesson, regardless of what they know and what they don't know? And this lesson is coming up in about 5 minutes.
That's everything. The whole setup is before the lesson, not during it. People make this massive mistake day in, day out, and every single person stubs their toe on the same rock. And that is that they go into the lesson hoping to learn something. The focus should be really so far from that. No doubt that we gain something from studying all about what is there, not here. What is actually in spirituality. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about someplace other than here. Now, in order, though, to achieve that, far and away the most important thing is our desire to be able to reveal those qualities that we can call the Creator, or that we can call holiness, or that we can call love, or that we can call bestowal, between you and me. Right before it, that has to be the primary focus going in there. My connection between me and you and the rest of the friends all over the world that's studying this, because it's not a matter, as you just said, it doesn't matter that you're in Toronto, Tony, and that I'm here, and that our friends that are listening to the show right now are scattered throughout the entire globe, because it doesn't mean anything. It's really what we intend to receive from doing this, and that needs to be that connection between us to be able to accomplish that. That's everything.
Thank you so much, Mike. Stay with me. I like sitting here with you. Let's bring everybody into the lesson and a completely new way of life that we are going to build this brand new world.
Love to.
All of the children are being called to be as one again, and we're one desire that cannot be filled unless we come back again, where we will be one. In a brand new There's a brand new world where the brand new world with no more concealment. All shall be revealed with the hand that will lead us back again, where we will be one. Obedient freedom will no longer bleed. We will cleave on to thee again, and your light will lead.